Hey everyone. Uh, Thank you for tuning in. We really wanted to take an opportunity to be able to talk about what the center has been doing, what the center aspires to do, just all of the things in between, because we understand that there's been a lot of changes, not just to COVID, but leadership changes and other things that have been happening. So we really wanted to be able to put this out to the community. We invited some of our program volunteers to join in to talk about some of their specific programs. And then our executive director, Lindsay Lugis, is also going to be talking a little bit about some other things that are happening. So welcome. Thank you all for being here. We have Laura Turner, she, her pronouns with the Disability Alliance. Laura Pilcher, she, her pronouns with the Youth and Family Initiative. Les Geller, he, him pronouns with the SAGE Initiative, SAGE Central North Carolina. And Harrison Casey Garcia, he, him pronouns, that is our youth chair for the youth programs. And then my name is Corey Hennessy, they, them pronouns. I am the Director of Education and Programs at the LGBT Center of Raleigh. And then Lindsay, she'll introduce herself probably at some point. If we can get right into this, I wanted to bring in Les to talk about SAGE. Oh, Les is muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey everybody, thank you, Corey. My name is Les Geller. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I am the program coordinator of SAGE Central North Carolina. Our mission at SAGE is advocacy and services for LGBT senior citizens age 15 over. One of our primary concerns is alleviating social isolation as members of our community move into their later years. Currently, we obviously, just like everybody else, our programming has moved online and become virtual. In some ways, it's been better for us because some of the older folks just don't like to get in their cars and have to go somewhere in order to have a meeting or to socialize. So we find that we're getting sometimes more people on our events than before. So in some ways, it's a blessing. Of course, I long for going back to the old days when we got to actually hug people and maybe a kind of a kiss on the cheek and, you know, just kind of face-to-face banter. It's been a long time since we've been able to do that. So I can't wait until those days are back again. So the programs we're doing currently online are Monday morning drop-ins for the women's group. They meet every Monday online from 10 to 11:30. And their program is a little bit more structured than the other one I'll discuss. Kathy, who tends to lead that group, generally introduces some kind of a theme or a discussion topic. Whereas in the Thursday morning drop-in groups, which were the original ones, and they're open to everybody, we just go at it free form. We talk about everything from sex to politics to religion to you name it. We get into all kinds of trouble, but we have a really good time. The women's group tends to get 12 to 14 people, and the larger group tends to get 16 to 18, sometimes more people. We also do special programming so that we can keep people engaged other than those two regular ongoing events. We've had programs on staying home and staying healthy. We've had programs on, I've got to look at my list so I don't forget anything. Communication in the age of masks. We're going to be doing one on managing medications, fall prevention. And most importantly, today, we're going to do a virtual dance party. We've never done anything like this before. I have no idea what it's going to look like or how it's going to work. But we encourage everybody out there who's interested in just kind of seeing what's going on. We're going to have a playlist from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and maybe some more modern dance music as well. I didn't do the playlist, so I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be great. If you're interested in joining in, you can go to our meetup page. It's just go to meetup.com, do a search for Sage Central North Carolina, and you'll find all of our events. But the one that's coming up is the virtual dance party. And if you click that you're going to be attending, you will then see the link to get you there at 7:30. It's 7:30 to 9 tonight. So I hope we get to see you all there. During normal times, Sage tries very hard to keep people engaged by doing a lot of regular events. We would normally be doing, and I'm going to say this as though it's actually happened, even though we all know it's not at the moment. We normally do 5 social programs a year. We do a Valentine's Day dance. We do a Memorial Day cookout. We do a 4th of July cookout. We do a Labor Day cookout. We do an annual holiday party. So those are our major events, and we can get anywhere from 60 to sometimes 100 people, and we really love that. Other things we would be doing on a normal basis would be free lunches. We do 2 free lunches a month for everybody. The women's group does 1 free lunch a month, and they were getting ready to work on a second one, which will hopefully happen once again. We normally do a Sunday and Wednesday walk and talk where we get anywhere from 12 to 20, maybe 25 people walking outside in one of our greenway parks. And it's just a bunch of fun because people, when you're talking and having fun, you don't realize how much work you've done. And by the time you finish, when you're sweating, you wonder how you got that way. But it's really a great way to spend some time and stay healthy and really enjoy the outdoors. We also do one in Western Lake Canyon, Hillsborough, which is takes place on the old Occoneechee Trail, which there's a long history about all of that. We do a 4th Friday lunch out where everybody gets together at a restaurant outside of, well, somewhere around, normally around downtown, but who knows anymore where that will be. So that would be the 4th Friday of every month. We do a Sage table, which is our way of reaching out to an intergenerational demographic where we come together, the older folks and the younger folks, and we have a meal. We play some games, we ask some questions, we do some interviewing, and we really have a nice time seeing the generations come together. We are about to begin something we've never done before, but we're going to be doing a bereavement support group. It's going to be facilitated by a retired clinical licensed social worker. And it's going to be 6 sessions starting in September. And we've had some requests from some folks in our community because obviously as we age, there is a strong possibility that we will be losing a partner or a spouse. So we wanted to be supportive for those folks, and we're going to be beginning that in September. Other than that, we do community education and outreach. We go out to groups that ask for our input. We tell them what it's like to be LGBTQ and older. Some of them have had no experience with our group at all, so it's very enlightening to them, and we're always happy to get the word out to the larger community about who we are, what our struggles look like, and how we can make it better for everybody. And then other than, we have a planning team which meets once a month, and we have an executive committee which meets once a month. What I would like to say is, if anybody's interested in volunteering to work with us, we would love to hear from you. If anybody's interested in getting our newsletter, our monthly newsletter, we send it out at the first of the month, and we think we're going to be putting out a printed newsletter as well. So you can contact us by writing to us at SAGE, S-A-G-E, at LGBTcenterofraleigh.com. And we would love to hear from you. We're always looking for people who want to become engaged with our group. So thank you for this opportunity, and have a great early Pride weekend.
Thanks, Les. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm in particular, really excited that y'all have been able to put together that that grief support group. That's really, really great. So Brittany Burchett, she, her pronouns, one of our wonderful librarians, actually just joined us. So Brittany, would you like to go ahead and talk about what the library is doing, especially since COVID has, you know, shut down the main center, the center, and then we've moved into a small space, and you know, you're not really able to function as a actual library right now. So would you like to? Oh, you're muted. Brittany, you're muted.
Sorry. At least we're not functioning as in a lending book sense. So we're taking the opportunity, thinking of it that way, to explore creatively some of the other things that libraries do in communities, and ways that we can try and bring those to people in the time of COVID. So just to give four things that I want to highlight. We are adding a package of resources to the website from Wake County Public Library. We don't have access to online materials, so it's a guide from Wake County saying specifically what sort of LGBT books they have available, especially for online download, so that you can at least find something to read, even if we can't provide it for you. The second thing that we're trying to do is we are trying to use social media to do a better job of informing our community of any number of things, because that is one of the roles of libraries, is to be an information center. So if you follow our Facebook or our Twitter, you should see those being a lot more active. We tweeted a lot about the protests, especially in early June. We're trying to give you a lot of news updates and health updates, anything that has come out regarding the way COVID impacts the LGBT community in particular, or anything that has impacted our community, and things you can do about that to protect yourself. And then also some book lists and some just fun book related stuff, LGBT authors and good reads and stuff like that, because everybody needs something to do while they're at home, and because the news is so dismal, you need a break from it. So if you just keep an eye on our social media, I know it has not been active in the past, but that is changing. We are very excited that in this time we have been able to increase our events. We are partnered on several events, not all of them, but a lot of them, with Quail Ridge Books. So we've had, gosh, I don't know, probably 4 events, no, more like 6, 4 that they led and 2 that we've led. We did Zaina Arafat here at the center. They did people like TJ Klune, and I don't know if they did Garth Greenwell, but sorry, we've had a lot and I can't remember. We have Nita Tyndall coming up. We just had a poetry workshop with Anoli Harper last night, and that was amazing. That was a really good space for people to be creative and open and sort of share things with other members of their community. And so we would really like to do more of those sort of intimate workshop events. We're looking at a poetry open mic. Nita Tyndall, author Nita Tyndall, is coming sometime in the fall. And one of the great things about our partnership with Quail Ridge is they can get really big name authors that we couldn't get on our own. V.E. Schwab, New York Times bestseller, LGBT icon V.E. Schwab, is coming in October. We just found out. We're so excited. So we will be a part of that. Tickets go on sale on the 13th. Keep an eye out. That's going to be great. So yeah, so we're really excited about the events that are coming up, and so those we'll be adding to those. And if there's anything that you want us to do that you think would be interesting, that you have a connection to an author or a poet and want to try and tell us to, try and stage this event, let us know. And we are just starting to try and figure out ways that we can support online learning in the fall. And so we don't know quite what we'll be able to do or what people will need, but libraries are going to be a great source for people who are educating their kids at home. And, if you have to educate your kids at home, why not take the opportunity to let them actually learn some LGBT history and literature, which they would not learn at a public school. So we're hoping to share like maybe lesson plans or at least some resources highlighting events in LGBT history and literature, maybe helping you teach that or at least giving you some tips. And we're just trying to figure out anything else that we can do to support you in that. And if there are any ways that you would like to be supported by the library that you think we can, either with teaching or anything else, anything that we haven't thought of, I'm sure there are things we haven't thought of, please give us an email at library@lgbtcenterofraleigh.com. And we will be thrilled to help you out. We will be thrilled to be back in our physical space and be able to check out books again. But this is also an interesting opportunity to explore all our other functions so that maybe when we're back in a physical space, we will still be a more well-rounded entity that does more than just check out books. And so I am grateful for the chance to tell you all that we are still very active, that we have not withered on the vine just because our books are not available. So thank you very much, Corey.
Thanks, Brittany. That was great. Yeah, we're really excited to be able to have some of the events and things. I know that I was moderating the poetry workshop last night, and I think that would be really great to do more of that stuff. So thank you for being here and talking with us.
Yeah.
All right, so Laura Turner, and there's two Lauras on here. If you want to actually talk a little bit about Disability Alliance, I feel like that's one of our kind of newer groups, and I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know too much about it.
Yeah, thank you. I head the Disability Alliance, and we are a new group, as Corey said, and our meetings have about less than 5 people per meeting, but hopefully we will start growing. The group discussions are very individualized to the person and their needs. At the beginning of each session, we like to ask, like, what do you want to get out of the meeting? Do you need resources? Do you need to feel a sense of community? Do you want to make friends? Do you just want to tell us about your day? Anything that you may need. We want to build a sense of community amongst those with varying disabilities, such as physical disabilities, mental illness, neurodiversity. There's also a autism discussion group, and we have some of their members cross over and come to our meetings as well. What else? I think that we just like to we will be starting to have more events when we can start seeing each other in person. Currently, all of our meetings are virtual. They're every other Sunday from 4 to 5. That's including tomorrow. So if you want to join us, please go to the lgbtcenterofraleigh.com website and sign up. And I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, Laura actually just recently took over not too long ago. So still getting her footing and it's going well. I'm really glad that we have this group and that we're able to give space. I think it's been hit or miss throughout the pandemic times, but I feel like we have gotten more people that are able to join virtually than we would have been able to, at least in the space that we were in. So I'm really grateful we're able to continue that. So I guess that's last but not least, our youth and family programs. Laura, do you want to go ahead and talk about maybe all of the programs and maybe a little bit more about the family programs, and then Casey can talk about kind of just what's going on more because he leads the programs.
Okay. How about I give like an overview and I'll let him like give specific details on each program.
Perfect. Yeah.
From a youth perspective, I think that would be more productive.
Great. Yeah.
So I'm Laura, she, her pronouns, and I'm the youth and family chair coordinator. And so we offer a range of programs for youth and youth of all ages, and also some family specific programs, such as our transgens, which I'll let Casey talk about. We are trying to expand our programs to serve the community better in a sense of offering programs for younger youth. We've had a lot of interest for children of younger ages, which we haven't typically served other than our search play group. However, we are noticing a need, so we're really focused on trying to expand our programs to better serve children of younger ages of 12 and under. So be on the lookout for those things coming soon. Also expanding into younger adults, that's something too we've saw a need for. So as not all young adults tend to go to colleges, some tend to work, some stay in the area, trying to better serve that population of like 18 to 25, that age. So we're trying to better serve those areas that we've like typically in the past not done well. So we've typically served that junior high school range, and so we're trying to better serve the population of children and those young adults so that we can kind of bring better services. Since going virtual and COVID, we've actually seen an increase in the community we're serving. So not just in our Triangle area, but also we're reaching rural areas of North Carolina. So youth that typically wouldn't have access to services, we're seeing that happening now. Also, we're getting youth attending from other states that don't have access to services. And we even have a couple youth attending from other countries. So our reach has drastically expanded since going virtual. So we're finding we are reaching youth that typically would not have had accesses to the type of services that we offer. So we've been really excited about that, and kind of discussing how even when we go back to meeting in person, how we can still keep some virtual options open so that people who don't typically have access to services can still reach the services that we offer. Something that's really unique about the youth and family programs here at the LGBT Center of Raleigh is that our programs are youth ran and youth facilitated. And so we have a youth leadership team, and we are really excited. We just did our youth interviews, and we'll be having our training for our new team coming up very shortly. And so we hold a youth leadership team and board, and they get to decide how their programs are going to be run, what events that they're going to do, what activities they're going to do, and then they facilitate their programs under the guidance of adult volunteers. And so the adults are simply there to help support them and help gather the resources they need, and we kind of train our youth with the goal of help creating the leaders of the future, so that they one day can maybe work in non-for-profits or go on to be leaders in their school and their workplace. And so I think that's one great thing about how our youth and family programs operate, kind of building up that sense of pride and independence in our youth. And so I'm going to kind of turn that over to Casey so Casey can tell you more. Casey has been involved in our youth programs for a very long time and was our chair this year. And he can tell you more about each individual program and what that's been like for him.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So just a little background on who I am. My name is Harrison Casey. I am the youth chair of the youth programs at the LGBT Center of Raleigh. Um, as Laura said, it has been a long time since I've been doing this. This will be going into my 4th year working with the center, which is totally insane. So yeah, so all of our programs are youth led. So we have a team full of youth who kind of choose which programs that they are interested in working with. And we pick the events, we pick how the activities are going to work. And if we want to do a discussion based on what's happening in the world, we make sure to educate youth. And also, like she said, I wanted to touch on a bit. I am seeing a lot more youth coming from places outside of the Triangle area. A lot of people who came to an event in the past once because they were able to make the trip, but they live in rural areas, so they couldn't really make it. We're reaching to a lot of youth who don't really have the resources in their communities. So as for some of the events and programs that we offer, we're seeing one of our most popular programs that we offer is Youth Drop-In. Youth Drop-In is simply come on in, we'll have an activity ready, we'll have a game ready, we will have a discussion ready. So we've had discussions about the current events happening in the world. We watched a film based on the civil rights movement, and which related it back to the Black Lives Matter movement. And we had a whole discussion on activism and what you can do to be an ally, what you can do to help with the movement and all of that. So that usually happens every 1st and 3rd Sunday from 5 to 7, and every 2nd and 4th Monday from 6 to 8. We also have something similar to that for trans, non-binary, and gender questioning youth. It's set up the same way, where we set up an activity or a game or a discussion. And it's exclusively for transgender, non-binary, and gender questioning youth. So that happens every second Thursday from 6:30 to 8. Going along with that, this was briefly mentioned, one of our family programs is Transgens, which actually me and my father co-facilitate. It is a discussion and support group for trans and non-binary and questioning youth and their families. So it's a place for you to talk about things that you need to talk about. It's a place for you to seek support. Personally, me and my family have learned a lot about hormones and getting me started on that from that group. So that's a really great place to learn if you need to learn from other people, because that information isn't always easy to find. That happens every 2nd Saturday from 10 to 12. And then one of our other programs is Youth Coffee House. That's every 2nd and 4th Wednesday from 5 to 6. It is a discussion group. So we will have prompts for discussion, and we'll have a little talk about it, and usually that sends off into other discussions, and it kind of is just a place for youth to come hang out and chat. Usually how that is set up, once we are back in person, we go to a local coffee house and we have some drinks. I believe that one drink is on the center, and we just talk and stuff like that. So that's how it's set up in person. So where do you find all the stuff that I just talked about? So we have an Instagram. It is @queerandc. You can go to queerandc.org, and you can go to Facebook, which is LGBT Center of Raleigh Youth Programs. All you have to do is add that youth programs on there. And I also have a Remind set up. So what a Remind is, for those who don't know, is it sends a text right to your phone whenever I send a text message out with information. So you'll get a little graphic and it says, hey, this is Harrison Casey. This is what's happening. And you'll get all the information directly to your phone. We also offer something really awesome. We also offer something really awesome, which is we have our Discord server. And for those who don't know what that is, it is basically a little chat room with different channels. The different channels are like, there's one for gaming, there's one where I talk about the events, there's one where we chat and all that, there's one for certain identities, so you can talk to people of your same identity. That's really awesome. So if you guys want any information on how to get on our Remind, how to get in the Discord, additional information on our events, you can email me at youthchair@lgbtcenterofraleigh.com. Yeah, that's all I've got for you guys.
Casey, you reminded me to look into Remind.
Yes. It's really awesome. It's a great way for like people to be like, oh, I have that thing today. That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's so good. Actually, one more thing. Do you want to talk about the Pride Prom that's happening tonight?
Yes. So our youth event for Out Raleigh Pride, we are going to be having a little virtual Pride Prom. As you can see, I have already decorated for it. That is tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. And the link for that, I believe, is on our Facebook if you want to sign up. It is for youth 12 to 18. We're going to have music, and then we're going to have a discussion about identity and what pride means to youth. Something else, if you don't mind, that we've been doing during the whole crazy pandemic COVID quarantine, we have been working on setting up quarantine care packages for our youth. We asked youth to sign up about around the beginning of June and are getting ready to set those up. And it's just going to be, we asked them what their favorite snack was. We're going to send little pride things. We're sending crafts. We're sending fun little things to keep, hopefully bring some joy to the youth during that. And I'm very excited about sending those out. So that's just also an additional thing we've been doing for the youth during the quarantine.
Yeah, thank you. There's some other really good things happening. We have a new intern starting that Lindsay has been working with. So I don't know if Lindsay wants to talk about that at all. But there's just a number of things that we're working on with all the programs, but especially with the youth and family programs, and trying to kind of reshape and change how some of those things are being put on, and the ages and the people that we serve, because we realize that we do have some gaps, and we're really trying to provide for all ages. And I should have probably started off with this, but I am kind of making an announcement. Being the programs director, I am looking into, we will be in the next couple of weeks kind of slowly putting out how the programs are kind of being restructured. So essentially, the way that they were in the past is we kind of had our youth and family programs, then we had our SAGE programming, then we had everything else. And that kind of, to me, whenever you go to the website, you are looking up specific resources or specific programs or discussion groups or what have you. And I realized that some of them, it was a little bit confusing to try and figure out where you needed to go. Some of our programs, are not really being facilitated right now. And so we've kind of really tried to figure out what we need to focus on, where the need is. So one example is our trans programming and transgender programming. We really wanted to be able to expand on that. And so we've done some things. We've included some non-binary groups, both a discussion group and tea time, which is like our social group. And we're really trying to figure out, especially in this virtual space, how we can kind of continue to expand on that and provide what we can until we're able to get back in person. So essentially, the way that I'm setting it up is that we have our Youth and Family Initiative, our SAGE Central North Carolina SAGE Initiative, and then we will continue the Transgender Initiative. But we also have had our HealthWorks Initiative that has kind of been, it's a part of the center. It's in our bylaws. It's something that we, got the center started and got it to where it is now. As most people know, we do HIV STI testing. And right now we are bringing that back. It is going to just be once a week, but we wanted to bring it back in some capacity. But we are going to be adding other components to the HealthWorks initiative to really be able to build on what it means to gain or to have health related resources. So our connections group is spiritual health. We've had, before we had to shut down, we had like our dental clinics. We're really trying to think of other ways that we can continue with that initiative. And then the way that I felt like would have made sense to kind of restructure things, since we had those other initiatives with all the respective programming underneath, we have now are putting together and created what's now going to be called the Queer Life Initiative. And so the programming under the Queer Life Initiative will be things like the library, open mic night, buy in the try. We have a couple of other social groups. We have our GBT men's social group, our women's group. So what has historically been Women's Initiative, we're kind of shifting focus and trying to, figure out where the need is there and what people really want, what the community wants in that group. And then Disability Alliance, our Triangle Autism Discussion, Triangle Artist Collective, and so on and so on. So we're really trying to figure out how we can structure these programs and have the initiatives at the top so that when people go to our website, they see, okay, look, I'm looking for this specific thing. I'm looking for, a specific thing that relates to transgender programming. So they can very easily click on the Transgender Initiative logo and then find all the respective programming under there. And obviously, I think some of our programs might overlap each other and things like that, but it will be slowly kind of being changed. It'll change throughout the next couple of weeks on our website. So please, continue going to our website, lgbtcenterofraleigh.com. Check out the programming page and check out some of the changes that are happening. But furthermore, last but not least, whatever you want to say, Lindsay wants to talk about just a little bit about what the center as a whole is doing and what we're moving towards.
Thank you, Corey. So first, I want to say thank you to all of our incredible volunteers who run these programs. As I'm sure everybody is hearing, we have a lot going on, and the pandemic has not stopped us. It has really even not slowed us down. I think we're doing, in a lot of ways, we're doing more than we were even able to previously. A lot of what people are mentioning, and I should say, we wouldn't be able to do that without these wonderful volunteers and people who give so much time and effort and dedication to the center. One of the things that we've discovered, as many of the folks have mentioned, is that there were gaps in services that we were not even aware of necessarily before the pandemic that have really come to light. Or even if we were aware of them, we weren't sure how to address them. And I think we're getting some clarity around some of those things. And one of the things is, I think we will always, for the foreseeable future, offer virtual programming even when we do come together in person, because it is such a vital thing for people who can't access one physical location. So speaking of physical location, I did want to say that there are lots of ways to get involved with the center right now. I know a lot of people are looking for volunteer opportunities, and a lot of places aren't taking volunteers right now. So I did want to let folks know that we are in a new location at 19 West Hargett Street. So it's a quick couple blocks from where we were before. We moved into this location primarily as a means to be really fiscally responsible during this pandemic time, to make sure that we were paying, less rent, and we're able to still have a physical location, because what is, an LGBT center without a center? But we also knew that it wasn't safe for us to open up and be together in person, with the exception of, again, offering HIV and STI testing, which we are bringing back, as Corey mentioned, Monday nights from 5 p.m. to 7:45, so you can pop in and see the new space. This is not a permanent space. This is a space that we've worked out temporarily while we look for a more long-term space. So one of the ways that people can get involved, if that's something that interests you, is send us an email at info@lgbtcenterofraleigh.com and let us know that you're interested in being a part of some of the committees that are forming around conversations we're having about relocation, conversations we're having about reopening, and we're looking at a lot of different things right now. We had just come from a very intensive weekend-long strategic planning session. It happened the weekend before we had to close down due to the pandemic. So, we went through this five-year strategic plan, and we're coming up with all these things. And now it feels, in a lot of ways, back to the drawing board, which I don't think is the worst thing ever. I think that we're seeing a lot of new opportunities come up. Some of the new things that have happened that are exciting: just last month, we voted on 4 new board members. So we have Kay Vassy, Erica Porter, Tari Coleman, Finn Tobin. So they came on with our 7 existing board members to give us a really strong, incredibly dedicated and much more diverse board than we'd had previously, with a lot of different skill sets. And actually, Erica Porter, one of our new board members, is going to be doing the voter information workshop that's going to be happening just a few hours from now. So if you want to ask anything and all things about voting in this upcoming election, please tune in for that. Voting going to be a focus of what we're going to be looking at in the coming months and ways that people can volunteer. We want to make sure we're running workshops, educating people on the importance of voting. We want to make sure that we're running workshops, educating people on knowing their rights around voting and knowing their rights just in general. So we're partnering with the NC Justice Coalition to offer some Know Your Rights workshops. We are also working with the Census Bureau and the Wake County Counts to make sure that everybody is filling out their census. If you have not completed your census, this is my gentle reminder to take 10 minutes. We will end this and then go do it really quickly. Take the 10 minutes to fill out the census. That is how we get crucial and necessary funding in our counties. So that's very important. So those are some of the things we have going on, and we offer and welcome people to sign up to volunteer, to again email at the info email that goes straight to me and to Natalie Watson, our operations manager. So either Natalie or I can respond to you and get you set up. And we have people still answering the phones 7 days a week, and we have to provide resources. And we're going to have, of course, volunteers on Monday nights helping with the testing as well, if you are in a population or a group where you feel comfortable being together with people in person. So I'm really excited by the things that are happening at the center. I think globally, this is a re-envisioning, reimagining time. I think locally and hyper-locally down to our center, it also is a time where we're really taking stock in what is important to us, what needs need to be met. We know that we are, in a lot of ways, in some of the early days of seeing what is going to come out of a lot of the different things that are happening right now. And we know that this is going to be a time where we're going to need to continue to lean on each other, where community is vital and important. And the LGBT Center of Raleigh, will stand ready along with our great community partners to be a part of that community and help people through these coming days. So, and I here will plug that we have a community partner panel happening right after this, where I'm talking to some of our great community partners with different organizations doing wonderful work around the Triangle. So thank you all for the support you give us. Thank you for tuning in and watching us as we navigate technology with a interesting learning curve, as we navigate what programs look like, and as we figure out how much fun a virtual dance party can be. So we of course look forward to celebrating with everybody in person again, but in the meantime, we are grateful for your participation here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay. For any information that you're looking for the remainder of the virtual Out Raleigh Pride this weekend, please go to outraleighrpride.org. And any information about any of the programming or events or just anything about the center itself, please visit our website, which is lgbtcenterofraleigh.com. And then if you have questions that you didn't catch anybody's email addresses, please email us at info@lgbtcenterofraleigh.com. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.